Okay, so we will see the next lab, and the name of the next lab is Serverless Data Analysis with Dataflow, a simple Dataflow pipeline, and which is written in Java. So basically, we have to deal with the Dataflow service, and the Dataflow, we know it is a serverless service because we don't need to create virtual machine. Automatically, a virtual machine will get created. That is why it is called as serverless. We have to perform some kind of data analysis using the Dataflow, and it is a simple Dataflow pipeline. Simple Dataflow pipeline means we have job 1, and after the job 1 we are running job 2, and after the job 2 we are running job 3, after the job 3 we are running job 4. So a sequential pipeline. It's not a complex pipeline, nothing like that, as we've seen in the previous lab. We have one pipeline and we have another pipeline, then both the pipelines are getting merged, and then third pipeline will get created. So nothing like that. A very simple sequential set of jobs. So that is why it is called as a simple pipeline. So as part of this lab, what we have to do is, so basically we have some files, right? Okay, let me first go through the overview. So the objective of this lab is we have to set up a pipeline, right? And we have to execute that pipeline locally, and we have to execute that pipeline onto the cloud. So when we execute the pipeline locally means nothing related with the Dataflow. Locally means just if it is written into the Java, we are just normally running the Java code on our local environment, or you can say just on the virtual machine. When we say on the cloud means you by using some services, we are setting the pipeline using the Dataflow, right? So yeah, so we have to run locally and we have to run on the cloud. So when we run locally, so as part of this pipeline, what we have to do is, there are some .java files. So let's suppose you have some Java files, .java files placed in some folder, right? And maybe 3 Java files, 4 Java files, or 1000 Java files placed in some folder, and that folder is stored locally. You have to read each and every .java files, right? Perform some kind of function on that, and you have to read all the import lines. So basically you have to scan all the lines. So let's suppose you have 5 .java files. So first you will read the first Java file. In the first Java file you will read each and every line, and if you find the import keyword, you will note it down. So once you read all the files and you get all the import the lines which have the import keyword, you will store that particular all the import keywords in the output file in some txt format, and the output file will also stored locally. So our source is also on the locally, our pipeline is also running locally, and the output will also stored locally. So that's why we called it as we are running the pipeline locally. When we called as a cloud, so our source will be on the cloud. So on the cloud, we can create some kind of storage bucket, and on that storage bucket we will put our some Java files which we want to analyze. Then we perform run our job, and running the job into the Dataflow services. So the job will be run over the cloud. Along with that, the output .txt file output, that also will be stored onto the cloud environment rather than the locally. So we have to perform this, but there are some pre-requirement. And what are the pre-requirement? If we have to the pre-requirement for this service, not for the locally. So because when we have to perform locally, then we don't have to worry anything, but when we have to run onto the cloud environment, right? So the requirement is, if we are running on the cloud environment, and on the cloud environment we are using the Dataflow API, so the cloud Dataflow API should be enabled. If it is not enabled, then we will mark it enabled. And we know cloud Dataflow API automatically creates some virtual machine at the back end So compute engine API should also be enabled, right, because these are the interlinked, right. If you will not make it enable and you will run the pipeline, so in the first instance Cloud Dataflow pipeline will be failed because it says that the compute engine API is not enabled. Along with that, we know when the Cloud Dataflow pipeline will run, so it creates some staging files, so we have to store the staging file somewhere, so we will create the bucket. Also in the same bucket we will like store our output file, plus we will like store our like source files as well. So we need the bucket. So if bucket doesn't exist, we will create it, right. So it is a very normal, very simple pipeline, job 1, job 2, job 3. We will go through the code is already like written for us as part of this lab. We have to just like explore like the code and how to run the that particular pipeline. So we will see like what the code is actually doing. So let's start. Let me start the lab. So let me copy the username, open Google console. Copy the password, hit next, accept. Agree and continue. Okay, so as I told you, like we need the cloud storage bucket because when we run on the cloud, not for the first step but for the second step, like we need the bucket. So I have opened like cloud storage panel. So cloud storage bucket is already like created for us. If it is not created for us, like we can simply like just click on the create bucket and give some unique name, and generally like we give the project name as the same as the bucket name, because the project name is generally unique, or otherwise we can give our own name as well. That's not a concern. So right now like nothing in the bucket, so it's totally empty, right. So bucket is so let me open the activate the cloud shell. Continue. So as I told you, like first we need the code, like which we have to run locally. So the pipeline code. So if I do ls, so nothing right now into the virtual machine. So the code is like available into the GitHub repo, and to clone the GitHub repo, so we have a very basic command, git clone. So we will use that command and hit enter. So the particular folder will be, repository will be get cloned, and it will be get cloned with the name training data analyst. So let's wait for a few seconds. It will cloned very soon. Okay, so once it will get cloned, so we will create a bucket, but bucket is already created for us, so we will leave this step. Otherwise with normal command we will like create a bucket. So this step is not required now. They are setting some bucket variable. Anyhow, let's wait. So clone is done. So if I do ls now, earlier I could see only one file, now I could see two files. So training data analyst like folder is created. So let me open into the editor, open in new window, so that like we can explore the code which we actually have to run, because we will not run the code blindly. First we will analyze the code, like what actually it is doing, and then only we will run. Because for this lab like the code is written for us, but let's suppose if in future we have to write the code, so at least like we know the programming language, okay, whether you know the Java or whether you know the Python, okay, we know the programming language, but how to write that particular code we should know. So let me close this. So let me expand the particular folder. So they have given us the path, so and like there are so many folders, so under which folder the code is written. So it is like it is available in the under the courses folder, and under the data analysis, and under the lab 2, under the like Java help. So we have Java and the Python, so we will explore both the Java and along with the Python, even though the lab is only for the Java, but we will like see the Python code as well. Because let's suppose if in future we have to run the Python, then we will explore that as well. Just syntax different, otherwise the logic will remain the same. So under the source folder, main Java com Google Cloud training data analysis, and so this is the code which is like written for us, grep Java. Let me open the Python code as well in the parallel, so that we can like so grep.py is the code. So I have opened that. So first we will analyze the grep.java, because this is the one which we have to like run as part of this lab. So as I told you, like we have to like create a pipeline, and as part of the pipeline, let me show you that as well. Do we any graph available? I think one graph was available. Where it is that? Yeah. So we will like just a very simple pipeline, like step 1, step 2 and step 3. So step 1 means get Java. So get Java means like read the like .java files. So if I go to the code, let me close the output lab. So what they have written is they are importing some files, right? So they are importing some files. I am giving you like a very like a high level overview, because even I don't know like what these libraries actually do, because I don't know Java, but just we can read the code, and we can like check, okay, what this code is basically like doing. So we have to create a pipeline. So first, like we have created the pipeline, and we have imported the pipeline using the Apache Beam library, right? Then we have to read the text file, right? So the first step in our sequence is like read the text file, and the name of the step is get Java. So the pipeline is like a P, right? The P variable. So on the P variable we are applying some function. So as I told you in the last lab, dot apply means like wherever we have written dot apply, that is considered as a particular step. So we have 3 dot apply, so it means we have 3 steps like in this pipeline. So the first step is get Java. So we are reading like a text file. So in the last lab, like we are reading BigQuery, and so that's why like we use BigQuery input output. But right now we are reading text file, and the text file is not in the txt format, but it is in the .java format from input. So input is a variable which we have defined above. So these are the text file which is available .java. So let me show you as well. So all these text file like grep Java, popular Java, all these are the like .java files which we have to read. So basically in this file, like wherever the import keyword is written, we are like actually reading those import lines. So we are in the first step, we are reading the files. So once the file will be get read, the second step is grep. Grep means, so we are like using the pardo. So pardo is like also the one of the inbuilt function. So if we have to perform any like function, a do fn function, like a do perform some function, we generally like pass into the pardo, which will perform any kind of a parallel processing. So either we can write this function externally and we can pass the function name, or we can like write the function within the pardo itself. So we have write a one function, that is the process element function, but this like a function is doing, like you could see public void process element. So this is a function. So what basically this doing is, it is reading like one line, and if the line contains search term and the search term is import, so if the line contain import keyword, it is storing the particular output. So like c dot output and dot line, right? So it is storing the particular output, and once the output gets stored, so the third step is like write the output in some text file, right? So third step means, so dot apply function again. So then earlier we did text input output dot read, now we will do the text input output dot write, and where we have to write to the output prefix. And what is the output prefix? Output prefix is temp slash output. So we are writing the output in the temp output folder with suffix dot txt. So the extension of the output file is txt without sharding. Without sharding means like whenever we perform the write, so it it should write everything in a single file rather than creating the multiple files. So that's why we use the sharding, like dot without. If you will not use the dot without sharding, you could see like a multiple output file get created, but we don't want the multiple output files. So we want only like a one output file, and in the single output file everything will be written. So that's like we will use the without sharding, and that's it. And we are running the p dot run, that is we are running the pipeline p dot run. So it's a very like basic pipeline, right? And if we like explore the Python code, so in the Python code as well, so here we are importing the import org.apache-beam.hdk pipeline, text input output, and do fn par do, so many other options. So here like we are reporting the import Apache Beam as Beam, right? And we have created the pipeline like beam.pipeline, and we also declare three variables like which keyword we have to search, what is the output path, what is the input path, right? Start.java files are our source files, and then we are creating the pipeline like p, and within the pipeline what all operation we have to perform. So in the Java code we use the dot apply method for each step. So wherever we have to create the step, we use the dot apply, but here where I have to create the step, like we use the pipe symbol and the name of the step. And what the particular step will do, we will use this redirect operator, and then use the syntax is basically different. So read from text, then filter map. The filter map is like a same kind of par do fn function. So we are creating our external function mygraph. So this is the mygraph. So we are just checking if the line start with the particular term means import keyword, and then it will yield the line. Yield, it is a basic kind of a generator. So it will give the particular line as an output. So once the output will be given, so it will write the particular output, write to text to the output prefix. Output prefix means to the temp.output folder. Then we will simply run the particular pipeline p.run. So yes, so this is the Python code and this is the Java code. So we have explore both the things. So when we run the Java code, so generally Java code we have to compile the particular Java code, right, to run the particular. So using the Maven library, so either you can manually write the particular command to the terminal, but generally it is recommended to create a .sh script and run the particular command. So ambient.compile. So I am not sure what this basically command is doing. So whoever know the Java and whoever know the Maven, so maybe they are aware of this Maven command, maven.compile. But as per me, I think to run the Java code we have to first compile the code, and to compile the code we have the Maven program. So using the Maven program we are compiling the code. So this is the basically Dataflow, but this is the locally code. So when we have to run the locally, so we have to just ambient.compile and then Java, that's it. So we are running the our code. So and before that we have to create the Maven project. So to create the Maven project, so we have also ambient.archetype.generate. So I'm not sure like what this generally do. So I google it, it said that it will create that pum.xml file. So maybe this is required internally by the Maven, I'm not sure, but we have to create the like Maven project, and then first we have to create the Maven project, and then we have to run the like pipeline locally. So yes, so we have like explore both the things. So let's try to run. So we have like our like shell is open. So we have cloned the code, we have explored the code. So now we will like go to the particular folder like where open terminal, clear. So right now we are on this directory, so we will go to the particular, oh, sorry, got it. So we will go to the particular folder like where our code is placed. We go to the particular folder, so we have like Java help and the Python folder. So we have the create ambient.sh. First we will like create the Maven project. So this is the creating the Maven project, ambient.archetype.generate. So it will create the Maven project. So let's wait. Maybe like internally you downloading some plugins, it looks. It will take only few seconds. .pom file also. Okay, so once the Maven project will be get created, so we will like run our Maven project. We will run our code locally using the ambient.compile option, and we are running the grep file .grep. Let's wait. So it is in progress. So building Maven stub project. It is creating the Maven project. So build has been successful. So let's do ls. I think new idea is created because earlier new idea was not there, and under the new idea pom.xml and the source. Yeah, anyhow whatever it is, I am not sure like what is Maven. So Maven project is created. Now we have to run it locally. So I am just change the directory to the particular path where the particular library is there, that is the Java help, and then just simply run in the ambient.compile and hit enter. So it will like run the that particular pipeline locally. So nothing related to the cloud data flow, because if I open the data flow, because we are not running it on the cloud environment, so nothing related with the like data flow, no operation will be performed onto the cloud. In the second instance we will run on the cloud, so no job is running on here. So like it has been run. So let's check the output file. Output file, as I told you, like it is stored in, it will get stored into the, so many things get opened automatically. Output file will get stored in 1 minute, a temp/output folder. So we have to redirect to the temp/output folder. So let me clear the screen. So and we have to see the cd/temp ls, where we have the output file cat output.txt. so you could see all the import lines will be written into the output.txt file, right? So we have executed the pipeline. Now the next step is we will execute the pipeline like onto the cloud. So to execute the pipeline onto the cloud, so first we have to put the source file, that is the .java file, or like onto the bucket. So we will simply use the gsutil command. We are like using the gsutil cp command. 1 minute, because I am into the temp folder. So I have to redirect to the particular folder first. So let me redirect to the Java help folder where we have the source file located. Yes. Yeah, I am in the Java help. Yeah, now I will copy the files. So clear. So gsutil cp Java help source main Java star.java I am copying to the particular bucket. So first I have to like so I have to give the bucket name as well. So what I will do, rather than giving the bucket name again and again, I will set the particular variable. So what is the bucket name? So this is the bucket name. So I will set the particular variable, enter. So if I do echo $bucket, so variable has been set, then I will simply like run the gsutil command. So simple normal command. What I am actually basically doing is let me show you. If I go to the source folder under the main Java help, I like go to the Java help folder, and like I am copying these 4 files to the cloud environment, to the storage bucket. So let me hit enter. So the files get copied. Let me refresh the bucket. So you could see Java help folder has been created here, and the 4 files we can see here, the code and the .java file basically. Okay, the source has been like put here, because when we run locally, so we don't need anything, everything should be locally. But when we have to run on the cloud, source should be onto the cloud. Right now we have to run the same code, but if we have to run the same code, we have to do some changes, because now the source is different, output is different, right? So a source should be our like cloud storage bucket, output should be our like cloud storage bucket. So we have to like change these 2 variables. So what we basically do is we will like update our code. So let me comment these 2 lines and update my bucket name, copy. So here is the bucket name, because now I have to run into the cloud environment. So if I have to run into the cloud environment, source and the destination should be also on the cloud rather than the locally. So I just update the code, rest everything will be remain the same. That's it. So this part is done. Now one more thing left. So the thing is, now I don't have to run it locally, right? So earlier, like to run it locally, so I run this command, like let me show you what command I run. So I run this command run locally.sh. I run this command like mvn compile, right? So this command, but now I have to run onto the cloud environment. So to run onto the cloud environment, where we have to run into the Dataflow runner. So the same command mvn compile, but with some extra parameter, because we are running onto the cloud Dataflow. So we have to provide the runner that is a Dataflow runner, and it also use the because when the Dataflow will run, it create some staging file and the temporary files. So we have to give the staging and the temporary location as well. So we have write the particular script run cloud1.sh. So we will execute the particular script using the bash command. Yeah, so but before that, as I told you, the API should be available, API should be active. So if I go to the let me check whether the cloud Dataflow, because otherwise it will get failed if both the API will not be available. If the Dataflow API plus the compute engine API will be not enabled, our pipeline will get failed. Cloud Dataflow API I think enabled, because we are able to open the particular panel. And if I go to the library and if I search cloud Dataflow API, so Dataflow API is enabled, so that is okay. Let me check the compute engine API as well. Compute engine, where is the compute engine API? Compute engine API is also enabled. So let me try to open the compute engine. Yeah, compute engine API is also enabled, so that is okay. So now we can run the particular bash command. So hit enter. So first it will build the Maven project, and then it will trigger the pipeline. So let me close this. We can see the pipeline, the pipeline will be automatically come here, because we are running onto the cloud environment. So let's wait. So it is building the particular Java project, and after that it will trigger the pipeline. It is basically the first two steps which we did when we run locally. We created first Maven project, and then we run mvn compile. Here it is running the building the Maven project, and it will use the Dataflow runner and submit the job onto the cloud environment. So let's wait. Yeah, so build is successful. So if I go to the Dataflow and if I do the refresh, so the pipeline gets started. So I can see the pipeline here, and because this is the serverless, okay, pipeline got failed as well. Pipeline got failed. I'm not sure why is this kind of a bug, or why the pipeline got failed, even though Dataflow API is enabled and our VM instance API is enabled. What else it is required? Because if I show the error logs, and if I go to the error, because they are saying that make sure that the Dataflow account is active and API is enabled. We have they told that first check Dataflow API is enabled for your project, and Dataflow API is enabled, and make sure that the Dataflow service account and the controller service account has sufficient permission. We already have the permission, so nothing. They told that service account have the permission. If I go to the IAM, already like they have the permission. Because the job is running on the compute engine, so compute engine use the compute engine service account. So if I go to the compute engine service account, so this already have the editor permission, they have everything. So right, and if you are not specifying the controller service account, the default compute, so we are not providing any controller service account, so it means the default compute engine service account will be used, which has the project number and developer and the service account. So our this account will be used as the project number, compute at the developer, and this is the project number. So we can check the project number from our front screen. So if I go here, so here is the project number 297115948, and same project number is using. So they told that the same project number will be used, and it should have the sufficient permission. It has the permission, and still it will like fail. But if I like run it again, let me run it again. If I clear the screen, so I have not did anything, right? But if I run it again, now it will run successful. I'm not sure like is there any API which I have to enable, which I have not enabled, and when I first run it, it automatically enabled the API, some API at the back end, and that's why in the second instance it gets successful. But which API it was enabled? Because the cloud Dataflow API is enabled, virtual machine API is enabled, we have proper access, something is missing which we are like missed. So now if I go to the jobs, if I again refresh, so the pipeline get triggered. This will not fail this time. So pipeline get triggered. If I go to the virtual machine, because this is the like serverless, so automatically the VM will get created at the back end. So if I refresh the virtual machine panel as well, why the VM node get created? It started running. Okay, I think it is just preparing it. Let me refresh again. Because the VM should be created if the pipeline is running, then it automatically build the VM. Yeah, so we could see the VM automatically get created. So, and also like as I told you, when the Dataflow will run, so it will like create the staging folder as well. So let's check. Yeah, it created the staging folder as well, right? Because when we copy the content, we only copy the Java help, but automatically like it create the staging folder. And in our code, if we closely look the code, so it is reading the file from the bucket. It will store the output file in the bucket under the Java help folder. So once the pipeline will be get finished, we will see like whether the output will be stored into the bucket or not. So let's go to the pipeline again. So it is still running, so let's wait for a few seconds. It will just running the Java files. It is doing the grep operation. Grep operation means like okay, first step is completed, second is completed. Now it is writing the output file, 35 element per second. No, only first is completed, second is running, I think. So if I go to the bucket under the Java help, earlier we don't have the output.txt, now we have the output.txt file. So once the pipeline will get finished, everything will be succeeded. So it is still writing the 10 element per second, 1 element per second, it is still writing. Once the pipeline will get finished, what it will do is it will like stop this virtual instance, and also it will delete that virtual instance. Once the instance will get deleted, then only like pipeline will be get treated as a finished, otherwise it will remain in the running state. So yeah, so first step is completed, second is completed, third is completed. So all the steps get completed. But if I look at the status of the job, it is still running. Why it is still running even though all the 3 steps get completed? Because it is trying to stop the virtual machine. If I refresh the particular screen, it will try to first stop the virtual machine and then try to delete the virtual machine until unless, because as the part of the pipeline internally, Dataflow pipeline, though it is not written in the code that you have to make the virtual machine, like you see the instance is being stopped, so it is first trying to stop the virtual instance and then it will delete the particular virtual instance. That's why we call Dataflow it as a serverless service. So once this will get stopped properly and it will get deleted completely, then we can go back again and check the status will get changed from running to the succeeded. So it is still running because VM instance is still getting stopped. But anyhow, like our output file is ready, so let's check the output file. So to check the output file, what we will do is like we will like copy the particular output file to our cloud shell. So let me do that. So right now we don't have the like output.txt, so let me copy the output file. So output file has been copied. So if I do output file is copied, but where it go? It go to the current location only, na? Yes, output.txt. So if I do cat output.txt, or simply write head just to write read first 20 lines, so you could see all the import lines it has right. So this is like our requirement to read the .java files, read all the import lines and write into the one file. So we have set up the end-to-end pipeline. So if I go to again to the virtual machine and do again refresh, if I do refresh here, yeah, it is succeeded. So it means like the instance should get deleted. Yes, so we are like we could not see any instance here. So if I go to the lab and execute the pipeline locally, execute the pipeline on the cloud, so yes, so our lab is completed. So as part of this lab, what we have see, like we have seen a very simple pipeline. Simple pipelines means like it's just a sequential of steps, job 1, job 2, job 3. We have explored both the Java code and we have explored the Python code as well, and we could see, okay, if we have to return .apply, then that is considered as a step. We also see what the particular code is doing. So it is just reading the .java file and it is checking if the particular line contained the import keyword, then it is storing the particular line, and once the it will store the everything, it is writing into some txt file. Then we have to run it locally. We will use the mvn compile option. Then we came again into the grep.java file. We have updated our input and the output prefix parameter. Earlier it is a local path, now we have updated to the cloud path. That's it. And we have running using the same option mvn.compile, but we have to run into the data flow, so we have to pass some extra parameter, that is the runner staging file. Alright, so yes, so we have done everything. We have explored the serverless data analysis, Dataflow pipeline with Java, a very simple pipeline. So let's close it. So that's the end of the video. Thank you. Let's end the lab and give some rating.